welcome back and welcome to Craft Along. And I'm all by myself. We've let Mr. Mosby go, so you've just got me for the next hour, although I'm not on my own because I've actually got two fine young men in my ear. Producer Johnny Big Pops himself is still here, as well as our lovely Jamie, who's in control of all those gorgeous close-up shots. Not too close around here, Jamie, whatever you do. Bet, are you ready for our craft along with the Whimsical Stamps? I absolutely love these stamps, and genuinely, I couldn't wait to do this card because I fell in love with this. I fell in love with the dogs. I shouldn't have favourites, but I can't help myself. I love this one. And this is the project that we're going to make. So I'm going to do a little bit of colouring with you. We're going to do a little bit of masking. And also, the items that you are going to need, or the ingredients, as I would say, if you've got the Whimsical Stamps, are as follows. You are going to be needing the Whimsical Stamps, the Happy Woofmas masking tape, our Finesse alcohol-proof black ink pad, because I am colouring in with Tri-Blends, which are our alcohol-based pens. I've got a white gel pen, white cardstock, a red cardstock, alcohol marker card to, of course, stamp the best image and colour in with the best one. The additional things that you're going to need are a 4x4 stamping platform, a mat, or any, to be fair. Any Christmas paper. I've just chosen a really old one that I found in my... I think it was Santa's Kitchen, I think we did this one from, which was quite a long time ago. A scoreboard, guillotine, all-purpose glue and foam pads to create our fabulous little project that we're going to do, fingers crossed, in real-time crafting from start to finish. And at any point, this is live and interactive, this is not pre-recorded or anything, live and interactive right now. You can ask any questions you want to ask. If there's anything you want to recap on, just let me know, because the other important person I forgot to mention was our lovely Jan, who's in charge of all our social media, which is Facebook and YouTube. And so anything that you are watching right now you want to ask, please do ask, because she's going to pass all those comments in. So I don't feel like I'm on my own. It's always weird when you've been with my gorgeous Ben all day and then I'm now on my own. I know he is, Jamie, I know he is. He's so loud, isn't he? But it's a bit of nice, peaceful crafting now. Has he gone? I hope he's hot-footed it out of the door, because I don't want him to hear me saying that. Whoops, he's getting changed. He might be able to hear me. Shh, shh, it's between us. Between us. Right, so our lovely Jan says, hello, lovely. Thank you very much, darling. Jen Shank, hello again. Listening for now, but I will be crafting along later. This card is so cute. Thank you very much, Jen. Mary Shaw says hello again, everyone. Crafty Stacey Lou, my gorgeous friend. Good evening, crafters. Well, an hour at the doctor's and no bloods. Are you kidding? You've been at that doctor's all this time and nothing's happened. Back next week for the taking, but so glad I get to catch my favourite, Debbie. Bless you. Missed you. Love me. And Cooper. Big loves to you too. But and he said, baby then. My gorgeous Cooper man and my gorgeous friend, Stacey Lou. Bren W747 says, hello, Debbie, and all you lovely crafters. Karen Bernard, good afternoon from a very humid Hampton Roads in Virginia. And Lois, gorgeous Lois, is in from Ohio and saying, hello, everyone. So, hello, welcome to Craft Along. Let's get started, though. I know we're 3 minutes in. I've got a lot to get through because we've got a fair bit of colouring to do as well. So if I just bring that in for a second, and a little bit of a technique as well when it comes to the masking. For anybody that's never done masking before, we're going to take it back and strip it back. So with that in mind, let's get crafting. I'm going to make the card base first. It's nice and simple. It is a 5.5 by 7.5 card base. So I'm just going to bring in a scoreboard, a bit of the white cardstock. So let me grab my scoreboard, which I thought I'd got out and I've not. I've left it over here. Debbie. And we're going to score this in at 5.5. So 5.5. Get your scoring tool. Couple of gentle score lines from top to bottom, and we're going to fold that in and then chop down the card base to the size that we want. So literally, it is a card base. Grab your guillotines. I've put my guillotine somewhere and I don't know what I've done with it. Jamie, I've put it back. What am I like? Why do I keep tidying up? I don't know why I keep doing it. So we're going to chop this down to 5.5, so it takes off that lovely little piece at the end. And then, because I've got lipstick on that end, I'm going to chop that little bit off. I get it everywhere, Jamie. I don't even know how I do it. Genuinely, I don't know how I do it. So I'm going to pop that onto there and cut this down to 7.5 as well. So let's take that down. Is that Ben dropping his car keys? I thought it was. Bye, Ben! Right, so here we've got our 5.5 by 7.5 card base. I'm then going to cut my pieces down. Now I am switching to mirror card because I don't have any plain red card with me. So I'm just going to switch this to mirror card. And this is going to be at 5.25 by 7.25. And then I've got these panels here. Now, we'll come to this in a second because what we'll just do is cut our cardstock down. In fact, you know what? We'll just use a piece for now, just for the time being. Let me grab my pattern card because I've fetched my spare bit of cardstock. We've had lots of gorgeous Christmas papers over the past, so you can use any. I'm just using a very old one, and it was a single-sided Christmas. Were it the Christmas cookies I wanted to... Not Christmas cookies. Were it called Santa's Kitchen? It was called Santa's Kitchen, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. So this piece is going to cut in at 7 by 5. And I'm just going to turn that around and cut that bit down because I've just seen that I've... there, that's better. Which is going to fit over the top. So these are our mats and layers. And I think the mirror card works really nice with it. So that looks okay. But yeah, use any of your Christmas papers. That's why I've put any Christmas paper. You don't have to use the candy cane. You can use any that you've got. This piece here, Debbie's forgotten the size. So let's just pop that down, which is coming in at 5.25 by roughly 4 3/4. So we'll see what that piece looks like. So 5.25 by 4 3/4. And I'm just going to make sure, let's just give it a little bit of a pencil mark so I know I'm getting that right. And I'll just give that a correct measurement in a second. Let's just put that down there. So that mat and layer, yeah, so that's 5.5 by 4 3/4. And if that looks about right, yeah, there it is. So the bit of alcohol card that we're going to use is the perfect card because I'm using tri-blends. So with that being 5.5, we're going to come in at 5.25 with this one. So 5.25 by 4.5, and that's the base that we're going to be working on. So just so you can see, that fits onto there perfectly. Okay, and then that is going to sit onto there, and then we're going to put a couple of little tags on. So that's basically your card base done. We'll push that to one side for now, just get that out of the way. And then we're going to bring in our stamp. So I'm going to move all of those. We'll stick those down towards the end, but this is the bit that we're going to be working on and using our gorgeous little trio of dogs. And I've already got my masking tape done, but I'm going to show you how to do this because masking tape's a wonderful thing for when you want to create a little bit of a scene. And I want to create a little bit of a singing scene going off with them overlapping, but I can't do that by putting the stamps directly down because obviously it just overlaps over the top of the image. So the first little character that we're going to stamp, and I'm just going to bring in my stamping mat. Now if you want to use your stamping platform, you absolutely can bring in your magnetic stamping platform. I'm going to work with mine loose. So I'm going to literally put the first one down and we're going to pop him on and then ink him up. Now I'm using flagstone. You can use black, but as we've often found out, can't find black in this building. Don't know where it's gone, but it doesn't matter. Any of them will work. This is quite a nice one, the flagstone, because it's like a dark grey, so it almost gives off a vibe of black, but not quite black. And I like this one, so I'm going to use this. Stamp across your stamp. And then we're going to pop him down. And I'm going to roughly go... roughly, haha, Jamie. Yeah, roughly go about a third, 2/3 down. So I'm leaving a little bit of space because I am going to pop on. Now you could do this to start with actually, which is probably a good thing to do. I'm going to use the We Woof You a Merry Christmas. And just so you can place that down, let's just hover that around. Yeah, that gives me a bit of a placement. So let me just go back in and stamp him down. Now, magnetic, of course, means that there's going to be no room for error, because if you're using the magnetic stamp, you'll get a crisp and clean stamp each and every single time. And if you do miss, it doesn't matter. So here's the first one. Now, the first thing we need to do now is bring in the masking tape. So I'm going to bring in a bit of masking tape. I'm going to trim this down. And I want enough because I am going to actually stamp out all 3 of them. Ooh, we've got a few more hellos. Let's have a little look. Janice Sutton, good afternoon on YouTube, watching and crocheting from West Virginia. Oh, Janice, I want to learn to crochet. It's one of the things that I really want to be able to do, and it's something I've never ever taught myself, but I love the idea of crocheting. So if you want to, if we do come on tour, I mean, whoever knows, but if we do come on tour, Janice, you feel like teaching me a bit of crocheting? Let me know. Zoe Carver says on YouTube, saving the show so I can rewatch and take notes to make in the future. Wonderful, Zoe. Michael Adams says, hi, Debbie. Good afternoon, Michael. Give my love to Stephanie as well, because I know Stephanie's probably busy in the background crafting as we speak. And then Melanie Bronov on YouTube says, love your nails, Debbie. Thank you very much. They need redoing, though, Melanie. I'm not going to lie. They need a bit of a TLC, but we'll get round to that soon. Now, I've stamped him out there, so you can see him there, but I need him to be able to go over the top so that I can do the masking technique. But I'm also going to stamp out, whilst I've got the other 2 little characters, I'm going to stamp out these 2 gorgeous creatures as well. And we'll put those on and we'll stamp those out at the same time before we go on to here. Because I need the masking tape cover up, so to speak. Now, if you haven't got masking tape, you can, of course, use like Post-it notes or a little bit of a scrap paper and use your repositional tape. But I just need those out there. Masking tape is fabulous because it has actually got a full tack over there. Now, it's not a really sticky, it just stick. As you can see, it's stuck to my hand. But what it doesn't do is leave a residue or anything like that around there. So you're going to need your little scissors, because what we need to do now is cut around all 3 of these. Now, I did say we're going to do real-time crafting. Even though I've got 3 at the side of me, we're going to do real-time crafting, and we're going to cut these out using our fussy cut scissors. And we're going to cut around that stamped image. So literally take your scissors and cut around the image. And this is where it involves a little bit of care to get around that image. You can cut on the line. It doesn't matter if you go a little bit under. You don't have to be too precise. What you're just wanting to do is to be able to cover up the stamp so that when you do create your layered look, you're not getting, there's no room for, there's going to be no errors, shall we say, when it comes to your stamping. So I'm just going to cut around this little bit. And what I would do is I would reuse these pieces. So you don't have to keep doing this every time. This can last you quite a long time. The ones that I've got on the side of me are what I've been using over and over and over again. So it's not something that you have to keep on doing this. You can do it once and then put them into your stamp packet when you're finished. And then when you want to create a little bit of a layered look, and you can do this with any of the stamps. It doesn't necessarily have to be these dogs. You could do it with the cat if you've got the cat. You can do it with your little shopping figures. You could create a really nice shopping scene, your champagne glasses. Trying to think of the other things that were in there as well. Can't remember now. So there's a dog. Oh, there's the little sheep, isn't there? The little lamb. We need to get brushed up on our skills there, Jamie, because we've got a quiz tomorrow that Ben's already given me a little bit of a heads up that I need to remember the Christmas launches. Oh, you don't have the... Are you here tomorrow, Jamie? Oh, yeah, of course you're not playing the quiz. It's me. Team YouTube. I need to remember all the Christmas. We've had that many launches. I know I'm going to forget. And it'd be really mortifying if Ben wins me on that quiz. Because obviously we work with all the things, don't we? So really, I should know everything. Oh, that's true. Ben has launched them all. So yeah, he has a little bit of an unfair advantage. I haven't launched all of them. We obviously take it in turns. So really, Ben should get 10 out of 10, shouldn't he? Yeah, it should be Ben. We'll see. So that's my second one done. So I'll just move all these little pieces off there. And then the last one, and then we'll be able to do a little bit of layering, which I absolutely love this technique. So pleased we've got our own masking tape. I was using post-it notes for the longest time and not always getting the best results because a post-it note, of course, has only got a little bit of sticky at the top, whereas this has got complete stick all over. So I'm just going to come in and finish off the rest of the cutting. Oh, Janice has got back to me. She said, I would absolutely love to teach you. Oh, thank you very much, Janice. I do. I've always wanted to do it. My daughter's tried it. She's joined a little craft club down in Bristol, and she's started to pick up a little bit of crocheting, although she can't get every week, so she's not quite mastered the skill yet. And every time she does go, bless her, they have to teach her again. Bless her little heart. So I'm just going to cut around that little bit as well. There we go. And there you've got your 3 little characters. Ready now to do the rest of our technique. So I'm going to bring those back in there. Now, this is where you can elongate this. I've just kept it pretty simple for this, but you can elongate quite a few out if you go bigger. You can actually build up and create a little bit of a background characters going off as well. And I'll have a look, I'll judge the time when we're doing this. But what I need to do first is pop my first piece over the centre and make sure it's all covered down. Just put those 2 to one side for now because I don't need those. What I then need to do though is bring in my side character. So I'm just going to dab down a little bit, just cleaning up that ink before I put them onto my stamping platform again. There we go, get rid of the excess. And then I'm going to grab my stamping platform, pop my first little character down, and then ink him up. And he's ready to go down. In fact, let me just make sure I've got him. I'm going to use the grid to get him on sat straight. There we go. Otherwise, he's going to look a little bit off key. So popping that ink down onto the top. Make sure you've got nice little taps covered across all of that stamp. You don't need to be pushing it in. The one thing I want to do about stamping is we don't push into there because it takes more ink, and that's when you can end up with like a really thick squidgy line. The lighter the taps, the better. Lots of light taps, exactly, Jamie, exactly. So I'm just going to bring this down into shot, and then I'm going to now create a little bit of a scene. So it almost looks like he's coming behind the back of his ear. And I'm going to line that up. When I'm happy with where he's placed, again, just push that down. So now you can see he's kind of placed behind the back of the ear. Now, I'm not going to pull that off just yet. What I am going to do is take my little side character and put it over where I've stamped. So he gets covered up. Trust me. Inky fingers. Don't do a Debbie. I'll be able to disguise that eventually, but I've got a little bit of ink onto there, and I'm just going to make sure I've cleaned off the excess ink with my little rag there. And then again, we're going to stamp light taps over the little side character, and then we're going to place him a little bit, but I'm going to bring him down, so he's going to like literally sit a little bit further down here, so it almost looks like he's curving. So I'm going to bring him down. And I think that looks about right. Can I just grab my head in shot so I can see? Sorry if you can see. Oh, that's okay. I thought I were in shot then. I'm going to push that down when I'm happy with where he's placed. And there you go. And then when we peel off, let me grab, yeah, we'll peel him off. We'll peel this one off first. So just get your poker tool underneath, peel that back. And then peel, oh actually we're going to keep him on because I'm going to come down this side now. So you can see how that sits. So it looks like the dog's actually sat behind him. And I genuinely love creating this kind of effect. So what I'm going to do is leave this one on, but just switch my stamps around now to the other side. So the the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, Debbie. Let's bring him in. Pop him down onto there. I'm going to use my stamping platform to straighten that up. And then again, I am going to lightly tap. There we go. And then we're going to do exactly the same where we come around. So I'm going to try and place him where his nose is literally just a fraction underneath to try and get that placement correct. So I'm just going to yeah, I think that looks about right. I've got eye counters here, so you might have to forgive me if I've got a little bit over, but the counters are very high here and I'm only a little shorty. But that looks cute, super cute. And then I'm going to bring in that stamp cover and cover over him. And then we're going to do the same. Light little taps. There we go. And then place him. And again, I want to place it, drop down a little bit. So let's bring him roughly, I'm doing it again, play on the words, roughly just a little drop down there as well. And as you can see now, it's almost like a little bit of an arch going off there, like they're all sat there. And again, if you wanted, you could stamp out another one of these, cut around it, cover him up, and then place some around the back as well. So I could pop him back on. Let's get him in position. And then I could place more coming round here if I wanted to. I'm quite happy with my little trio. How many's there? 5. Quartet? Is it a quartet? I think it's a quartet, isn't it? And there you go. That creates that lovely scene of all of them sat side by side like they're in a little doggy choir. And that is as simple and as easy as that is, using the masking tape. I think what I am going to do, whilst I've got my stamping platform out and my stamping mat, is I'm going to pop my image on, and we're also going to bring in the musical notes too. So you've got your musical notes on there. So let me grab my Woofmas stamp and place that. Use your grids for these, and we'll go in again with the same ink. Light little taps. And then you can place that. I'm just going to have it sat underneath and push down over the top to create our lovely "We woof you a Merry Christmas." And then literally now, with your little stamps, with your musical notes. Now I've got a little tiny little rocker, do you know, from one of our, oh, what was it called? This little, it was with one of our stamp sets. It's a little rocking set. I can't remember the name of it. Just to say thank you very much, Jamie. I couldn't remember which one it was from. I think it is actually. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. That was a big one, weren't it, just to say? I've got it from one of them. But literally now, just have a little play with your stamps and just popping that around and just create. So I'm trying to cover up a little bit of a mistake there, which I might be able to get away with, but I'm not going to worry too much. And we're going to pop them all the way across and just keep inking up to create the little sing-song. And already you can start to see it taking shape before we've even added colour. I'm just going to put a few more down. Let's go that way. I'll have one just down here. And then I think I'll stop with my musical notes because I get a little bit carried away. There we go. So all of those are on there now, and now we're ready to do a spot of colouring. So I'm going to pause just a second. We'll have a little read of some more comments. But that, I mean, took all of, what, 10, 15 minutes to create the card base and get all our little images ready to do the colouring. So I'm just going to place them back. And this is what I mean about popping your pieces on. Now I'm going to save that one because I chopped his leg off. So I'm going to pop that back on there. And I'm going to save all of those so that I can do multiple layers, and just pop your stamps back on, literally ready to go again the next time you want to use that method. It's pointless redoing it and throwing those away when you get quite a lot of uses out of them. I've created this quite a few times now, and yeah, keep them in your stamping wallet or into your little folder so that you can come back and reuse them time and time again. Right, so that is our image ready for us to colour in. Now, before I do, I'm going to look at some more comments and move all my little pieces out of the way. We'll keep that there because we need that back again. So let's have a little look. Oh, I've missed a few comments here. Oh, right, hang on a minute. No, Debbie, Steph, not crafting. We're watching the Queen of Crafting working her magic. You're so kind. Thank you very much, Michael and Steph. Crafty Stacey Lee on YouTube says, I was going to craft along but need food, so I'm cooking whilst watching peri chicken and rice. Bit of peri chicken. I love a bit of peri seasoning. It's just delicious, isn't it? Mary Stewart on Facebook says, hi Debbie, love watching you at work. Oh, thank you for my beautiful card. It arrived yesterday. I'm so sorry it took so long, Mary. I completely forgot. It was literally hiding under a pile of cards when I was cleaning out my craft room, and I thought, oh, I've not sent Mary that card. So I'm so pleased you've got it. Because it was from the last Hunky Dory show that I did, the cube card, which Mary won. Alexander Gerlin on YouTube. Debbie, I'm not good with crochet. 2 of my girls joined a crochet for beginners club around Christmas. One finds it hard. The other has really taken to it. I know our lovely Anne-Marie from Hunky Dory, she does crocheting, and some of the stuff she does is absolutely stunning. She made a cardigan, a blanket. Did you say you crochet, Jamie? Oh, your mum. Sorry, I thought you said you crocheted. I thought, man of many talents, you could teach me. Jane Adams on Facebook. Yes, Jane. I've sent you a little message. I've got them. Friday Night Live at the end of the month. Thank you. Zoe Carver on YouTube. Snowflakes are like Christmas butterflies. They're good for covering up inky marks. Yes, they are. As are musical notes to try and cover mine up. Oh, it did. Thank you, Jan. Do you remember the love hearts? That's where it came from, Jamie. The little love hearts that we put on, do you know the little love heart collection that we did that looked like little love hearts? Thank you, Jan. Coming to the rescue there, letting me remember, because I can't remember which. We have that many, let me tell you, it's not easy to keep up with all the things and where we got them from. Now, as always, when we're doing a spot of colouring, we are going to use a bit of spare cardstock underneath to soak up the ink that we're going to be using. Now, the colours that I've taken and chosen for this particular one are from our Tri-Blend range. You can use Classics, you can use Illustrators, you can use colouring pencils if you want to use colouring pencils. If you're using water-based medium, sparkle pens, paints, aqua blend pencils, anything that's a water-based medium, the thing that you would have needed to do is switch your cardstock up. So you can colour in however you want, but just make sure you're using the right ink pad and the right cardstock to get your premium optimum results each and every single time, and you won't far go wrong. So the reason I chose alcohol marker card is because I'm colouring with alcohol markers, and I've chosen, well, I've had to switch to dull green for this one, but it's absolutely fine. It'll work perfectly. I've got dark red blend. I've also got, and I've had to switch this up to a Tri-Blend because I can't find the brush marker. I can't find the regular one, so should work okay. It'll be all right. We'll be able to go away with it. And I've gone for ice grey blend and ice grey shades to get a little bit of deeper colouring when it comes to colouring in our lovely little characters. So we'll start with our little centre man there. We really should call him by name, shouldn't we? What should we give him? What name would you like to call him, Jamie? I'm going to leave this one with you. Oh, it depends, because you can make any kind of dog with this, can't you? Rolo. I'm going with Rolo. We've got a little Rolo in the family. I'm going to start with the lightest of the colours. So in terms of your colours, now this is quite a, there's quite a bit of depth and dimension with the brush pen. It jumps from ice grey 2 to 7 and 10, so that's quite deep. But when you move to the shades, you've got some more colours, 6, 8 and 9. Now, if I was switching to a Classic pen, let me grab a couple of other colours in there so I can get quite a bit of depth and dimension. We'll go with 5 as well. I've gone for some classic, so you can add extra shades in there. And this is the Ice Grey 5, 4 and 3. But the first one I'm going in with is the lightest, which is the Ice Grey 2. And I'm going to come in and just add around the outside a little tickle around the edge of our little dog. I'm going to come in at the bottom as well and work a little bit up his neck. And we're going to do a little bit at a time. So I'm going to feature on his face and his ears first. I'm going to cover the whole of his ear. So bringing that in, and don't worry if you go over a little bit onto the other one, because you're going to be colouring these in. And then depending on the deepness of the shade you want to go, 7's quite deep, so we'll go in with a number 7. And I'm going to just tickle around the edge of the ear, down to the tip. Bring a little bit flicked up, and then a little bit down here at the base of his ear. Now, because that's a 7, I'm then going to switch to 5. We'll go into 5 with the Classique. And I'm going to just tickle around, little circular motions over the top, so that get quite a nice blend when the lighter, because obviously we've talked about these pens before, it's got less of the ink and more of the alcohol in, so and that goes from the deep one, so the darker shade at number 10, so number 10 to down to number 1, that's got more of your ink in at number 10, less alcohol. The one down at the 1 shade has got more of the alcohol, less of the ink, so that you get a gradient, because that's how an alcohol pen works. And again, I'm just going to pop that back over the top. I'll go back in with the number 7, which is the medium, when you look at that one, and we'll tickle around the edge again. A little bit flicked up to the top, a little bit down there, and then bringing that 5 in again. I'm going to go over the top to blend that out, and then I'm going to go back in with that light one again. So I'm going to take the lightest one and go in. So you can see now you've built up a little bit of depth and dimension. Whilst it's still wet and hasn't thoroughly dried, if you want to go in and add some more, absolutely, take your pen, go in and add a bit more. Because whilst it's wet, you can see you can still add a little bit more into there. Then I could come in with a little bit of a lighter shade as well. So I could go in with the number 4. There we go. And you can start to see when that alcohol evaporates, it brings you that depth and dimension. I'm going to go back in now into this one where I've started. I'm going to jump up just a couple of shades. So I'm going to take my Ice Grey 3, and I'm going to tickle around his edge of the nose area and his head. And then come in under his neck. And then I'm going to go back to that light one and just dot a few around the outside. Do you know of colour I forgot to mention? I knew I'd forget something, Jamie. I do it all the time. I forgot to bring in the pink for the mouth. Ah, what am I like? What am I like? I do it all the time, Jamie. Seriously, you need to say to me, Debbie, have you got everything? Mm-hmm. Let me grab a pink. Let me grab a pink. We'll go with, let's have a little look. I'll go with, ooh, which pink shall I choose? Oh my days, the lightest one's not there, so I'm going to use Pink Extend. And colour in his little mouth there, just in the centre. In fact, we can do that with all of them. Get the mouth done out of the way. And again, I'm just going to add a little bit of the deeper shade just at the bottom. Doesn't matter too much there. But we're going to go onto his nose. Now, his nose, obviously, is going to be darker, so I think I might go in with number 10. Let's go in with number 10. Just a little tickle around the nose. But then I'm going to move to the mid colour, so that's number 8. And again, just a tiny little touch around there. And then we'll move to number 5. And then right at the little point, I'm going to go back in with, I think this one's 2. Like so. Love that. I'm going to stick with that. In fact, I'm going to stay there, actually. Ooh, I wonder if we've got a blender pen. Ooh. Oh, actually, no, I'll leave it. I'm going to go into his body. So I'm going to come down into his body with the lightest colour again, round his legs. The lovely thing about these stamps is you don't have to go mega with the colouring. You could just use the line artwork to create a little bit of shade and dimension. So I'm going to come in, just pop that down there. I'm going to go in again with, let's take number, I'll go number 4 this time. So let's take number 4 in. And work around that lined artwork, around his paw, up in the middle, a little bit down. And then I'm going to go back in with that lightest shade, and I'll do a little bit of dots. Now, if you've got the pen, rather than the brush pen, you can get a little bit more detail, which is what I used at home with my project, but not to worry, looks absolutely fine. In fact, actually, I might just do a little bit of dotting around there. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. Right, so that's the first one done. We'll move on to, in fact, let me just keep them there, but because I'll be using them again in a bit. I'm going to bring in the red, so we'll colour the scarf in. So we're going to start with the red of the lightest tone into each of these segments here, and I'm going to just keep hitting one and missing one. And come down this side as well. And then, thing is as well, do you know if you're not comfortable with doing a little bit of shading, you can actually just do block colour. These stamps don't necessarily need you to be worrying too much about getting depth and dimension. So if you like a bit of block colouring, then stick with that. Don't overcomplicate things for yourself if you don't need to, because these stamps are just lovely to work with, but of course I need to add a bit of depth and dimension to mine, so I'm going to come in with the mid-tone and just add it. Don't worry if you go a little bit over, it's absolutely fine, because we are going to be adding a bit of green. So I'm just going to take that, and plus I think this pen has seen better days. It looks like it's been bashed around a few times because it's not quite as a fine tip applicator as it normally is. But it's all right, we can work with it. Can you see it's like splodging over? It's been, look at the poor little thing. Someone's had a right go at that one, haven't they? Who can I blame for that? We'll blame Ben, yeah. I'm going to come in with green. I do love the blame game we do here. It is done in tongue-in-cheek. It's done no malice whatsoever. We love each other to bits, and yeah, just so people don't think, oh, they're always blaming each other. Yeah, we do it tongue-in-cheek. I'm going to come in and add a little bit of depth into this one, because I feel like I need to cover up some of my little faux pas over there. So I'm going in with the dark down the scarf front like so, and this end as well. Gives it a little bit of a rounded feature. So that's with the dark one. And then mid-tone. Oh no, someone's been at this one as well. Goodness me, what's going off? So again, I'm just going to do all of that and then finish that back off with a little bit of the green, just to blend that through. And there you go. Oh, I forgot his leg. How can I forget his little leg? There we go, that'll do. So that's little first doggy done. I am going to get your white gel pens, because I did mention that a white gel pen comes in really handy for this. But I'm going to put a little bit of a dot in his middle nose. I'm going to take the white gel pen and take a little bit just here to give what we call a little bit of preserved highlight, which you can do when you're colouring with. Let me grab my other gel pen. I don't think that one's working very well. Let me grab, I wonder if this one is. Let's have a look. See if that one's working better, because I use my gel pens all the time. Let me grab a little spare bit of cardstock. There, perfect. So I'm just going to drop a little bit down into there, a little bit onto his leg this side. It's just a subtle little piece, but again, popping a couple down his jowls there. Is that the right word? Do you know the cheeks? Little jowls, is that what they used to call them? I think it's something like that. And then we're going to do my little technique where you drop a little dot and a couple of little crosses to create a technique. Sarah, when I showed Sarah this the other day, she was like, "Oh, Debbie, I like that." So if you see her doing it, you'll know where she's got it from. We do indeed, but I can't even take credit for that, Jamie, because I learnt it from one of our fabulous advanced kits. But you can start to see now my first dog's taking shape. Now I'm just going to try and find my blender pen. There should be a blender pen in it. There it is. Because the broken red pen is kind of driving me mad. So I'm going to just push that ink through using the blender pen and just push it back through the cardstock. It's almost like an eraser. And you can push quite a nice bit of that out. So that's worked fine. So what we're going to do now is working on the rest of them as well. So shall we move this side? We'll start with this side. Again, I'm going to keep this really simple because I can see time is already running away with us. What on earth? So I'm just going to take the lightest. I'm just going to come down and highlight just around his ears. Oops, we need a little bit of a pink here. Let's grab the pink. Let's do the pink ears. I forgot those ears are on show there. But we are just going to take this pen and literally tickle around his paws. And that's just to make him pop. No, Jamie, I don't want my dog to pop. I just want him to pop off the page. Love that. That looks lovely. And I'm just going to keep that as simple as just literally tickling around the outside there with the lightest tone. I'm going to do the same on this side as well. So I'm just going to take this pen, go around the outside, tickle under the nose, a little bit around the mouth, on the neck, just underneath. That's going to be coloured in with our green and reds. So we're going to come down and add just a little bit onto, and this is the lightest of the greys, just around. That's his paw, not your paw. There we go. And just tickle around there as well. So I'm not going too in depth with the colour, but what I am going to do is just do the ears. So a full coverage of the grey ear on this side, nothing on this side. But I'm just going to do a full grey, and then I'm going to go in with the darker colours. I think I might just stick to 5 though this time, so let's come in at 5. And just tickle around that side. And then come in with, we'll go into shade 3. And then back to that first shade that we used. And then we're going to do his nose as well. So we'll start with that. We'll keep them all the same kind of colours. I think I might just switch to the mid though for this one. Yeah, so it almost looks like a little band of, a pack of what? Pack of dogs? Ooh, is that what they're called, a pack of dogs? I know wolves, yeah, wolves are a pack, aren't they? And then we'll switch to the next shade. Just a couple of little tickles, nothing too big. And there you go. So that is the that one. And then we'll switch to, we'll go to 5 again. I think that's my number 5. And I'm just working from the outsides and then preserving the centre bit as well. It is a pack of dogs? Oh, thank you, Jamie. Did Johnny do the Googling? Google always wins his hands down, doesn't it? Always helps. Although now these days, people are using ChatGPT. I've never heard of it, but what was it again? ChatGPT. Never heard of it. Oh, AI, is that what it is? Oh, I'm not down with the kids, Jamie. I don't know these things. Right, so that's those 2 dogs done, but then we'll start to colour in here as well. So we're going to use our red again. So going back to the red. Start with the lightest. Uh-oh. Debbie started with the darkest, so I'm going to have to change this up a little bit. So I'm just going to tickle that with the dark. go to the medium. I'll have to work back to front with this one. 15 minutes, Jamie, there's me. I've got loads of time, I'll get it all done. I know, I know. Do you know what though? It's nice and relaxing just to colour a little bit, isn't it? And then, yeah, 5 minutes and then it'll be like, oh, speed crafting, Jamie, speed crafting. I don't panic though, do you realise? I don't really panic. No, I don't panic. Take it all in my stride. Yeah, I'm just like, Jamie, can I have 5 more minutes? No, I know, not tonight, not tonight. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these bits coloured in at the same time. Because it won't dry instantly, so, and because it's only a small area, we can work with it really quickly. Let's go back in and add a little bit of dark down this side, a little bit under the collar, a little bit under the band there, and then switch to the mid. And then back to that light. There we go. So next thing, green. We'll use the green one. So we'll start with the lightest. So we'll come down into the body bit where his little jacket's on. We'll start with that light. Get the dark, and we'll take a little bit of the dark just coming down here to give it a little bit of curve, almost like a rounded. And we're going to do that under his belly as well and down the legs, a little bit over the top here as well. Take that medium colour, go over the top of there, a little bit under the collar. And then go back to that light. And again, whilst it's wet, whilst the ink's still wet, you can go back in if you want to add a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the medium tone, just to soften that blend a bit. But not to worry, because we're going to take our white gel pen again and we're going to work with that. So I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So I'll start with that lightest. And then put the dark down. Again, we're going to have a little bit. So I've used a different colour with my original one because obviously I couldn't find the colour in here. It doesn't matter. We'll keep into the Christmas themes. You can use any greens, any of your reds. So back to the middle tone. And finish off with that light. And then get your gel pen. And we're going to repeat what I've done on the scarf here, but we're going to repeat it on the collar. So dots, big dots, small dots, little crosses. And we're going to do exactly the same onto here. I'm actually going to put a little bit of a preserved highlight down the back of him. And then just fill in dot, 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 cross, dot, literally just to create a little bit of a, well, I think it gives it a really lovely little fun feature to it. And like I said, I learnt this from the advanced kits from one of our fabulous artists that we worked with, and I just loved it, and I use it in such a lot. It absolutely is my favourite one, Jamie. I love it. It's just fabulous, which is the Adventures of Colour. I'm going to move over here before we do the rest of the colouring of the dog. We'll get all the big parts of it done. So I'm putting a little Christmas tree just onto his back. And then we'll do a little bit of shading just with on the back there. And again, I'm not going to worry too much about shading because we've got it all on there. I want to get the rest of the dogs coloured in. Do the body part now. So we're going to come in with the collar and his jacket, so to speak. Lightest colour down first. And just bring that down into the collars of his little jumper. And again down this one. And whilst we've got it going, we might as well do the other side as well. Now normally I'd tell you to work in sections at a time, but we are literally down to how many? 10? Oh, it's fine. You nearly fell off your chair? Bless you. So again, get the dark. We'll put a little bit of shading under his belly, round the collar, both ends. a little bit round there. Same with this side, just a bit of dark colour, a little bit round here where the little bit of natural shading would be, back on his collar. Go with the medium. Don't worry, these pens are shocking. I'm going to have to change these tomorrow. Remind me, Jamie. These definitely need to be changed over. I think we've seen better days. But to be fair, I think we've used these set of pens since launch. And just show you how long they last, Jamie. Absolutely. Tri-blends. Oh, God, that's going back some, Jamie. Just testing my knowledge a little bit there. Ooh. Was it before you, Jamie? And we're already out then? I can't remember. Oh, they will have been. I think Tri-blends were in when I were in store. And that's quite a while ago now. 19 what? No. You comic. It's got to be easy. I would say more, Johnny. I would say more. Right, I'm going to finish off with a little dotty dog. I think I'm going to do dotty on this side as well to speed it up. So I'm going to take my light colour, flick around the edges. We'll colour solid here again. In fact, actually. Just going to tickle around the edges, but we're going to put some spots on him. You can use any colour as well with this. I'm just using grey. Keep it nice and simple, quite uniform as well. I'm going to go in with, now I need a bit of a dark colour with this, so do you think so? Yeah, I think 7 will be okay, so that's the mid-tone. So I'm just going to create little dots. Big dots, little ones. A little bit onto his ears and into his body as well. So let's just come in. And it doesn't really matter how big or little these dots are. And I think we'll join him up so that we've got a matching one this side as well. Didn't do it on my original card, but it's just a little random. And you know, the lovely thing about a dotty dog, they're not uniform spots. So it really doesn't matter at this stage how you do these. And just have a little bit of fun with them. I think I'll just do a light grey little tail. And just finish. And I think I'm quite happy with that. And apart from adding a little bit of a gel again, just a little bit highlighting areas, so maybe a little bit onto his nose there. Just a little dot there. Don't really need to add much highlight. You can add a little bit if you want to down the tail end. It's just taking it and just doing a little tiny bit of preserving that highlight, so to speak, but it doesn't really require much. But we're going to ground him. So we're going to ground them. I'm going to take that lightest, in fact, actually, I might switch to 2. Have I got 2? I've got 3, 3 I'll do. Oh, actually, no, I need a pen, brush pen. Let me see if I can find, let's have a look. I'm going to just ground by literally going underneath. Good job I remembered that bit then. Just underneath them to ground them. That one's practically running around, so we're running out, so again, there we go. Going underneath. So it doesn't look like they're floating mid-air. Basically, you're going across. And now you can make them pop by going around the outside as well if you wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it literally. It just grounds them onto there. So let me just push all my pens out of the way. How are we doing for time? Oh, okay. So I've got time to extract. So let's extract our centre. Let me grab my paper trimmer. Didn't put that on the list, but however, I don't want to waste my mirror card, so I'm just going to extract the centre, choose a grid line and stick to your grid line so that you get an even aperture. Otherwise, you'll end up with what I'm going to end up with in a second, which is a little bit that needs just snipping out because I didn't quite get there, but that's absolutely fine because it only takes a couple of seconds and it really doesn't matter, to be fair, because you're not going to see this little bit. So it doesn't matter if you do what I'm doing and chopping it off randomly. And that's only because I told you what to do, but then didn't follow my own advice. So let's pop down now. I'm going to use our tape pen for this because tape pen will look better with the glue, with the cardstock that I'm using. I will come back to some more of the comments as well. I am conscious I've not watched any of the comments coming through. So let's pop that onto the base. Then I'm going to use my solid piece. And again, I'm going to use tape pen only because, of course, if I use a wet glue, what can happen is the wet glue can splurge out, go onto the mirror card. And of course, we all know mirror card, you don't use all-purpose with it. It's a solvent-based glue and you will ruin your project, as I have done many a time in the past before. I'm going to keep that solid, so I'm just going to stick that onto the top. So it will come down. How are we doing for time, Jamie? 3 minutes, so I'm going to have to leave my little tags off, but I'll show you how I did them. It takes 2 minutes to do your little tags, but just to pop that on, probably just have to do a little trim of that because it's a little bit out. So I'm just going to trim that. Ooh, nearly. Let's pop that on, and I'll do the top one as well because I feel like that top one just needs a little trim as well. And that's just because of the way that I've put it onto my platform there. So again, a little bit of say as I, what is it? Do as I say, not as I do. That's the one. Lift that off with some foam pads. How many minutes? Lord in heaven. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to pop that there, just so you can see it when it's finished. The only difference that I've done there is I've added a couple of little tags on, literally 2 little tails, in the contrasting colour, and that's literally the difference there between the two. But I think that's showing you what you can create, and I'm not going to rush to start sticking that down because I'll put that on, but I've given you the basis of how to create that and how to colour. And I can see lots and lots of lovely comments coming through there. What was that, Jamie? A minute? Oh my goodness me, didn't that little... Oh, wait a minute. Debbie, crocheting, relaxing me, sparks creativity, and advanced. Rosalind, an advanced crocheter. Can't wait to try this, says Stacey Lou. Janice says this card's so cute. I love the dogs. Love pink, teals and lavender colours for Christmas. They look lovely. Show me and share with me. Lots of lovely comments coming through. Thank you very much, Pat. Debbie, the colouring is just beautiful. You make it look easy. I have the right tools, literally, quite literally, for the job. Right, that is me done for today. I survived the last hour on my own. Are you going to come back and join us tomorrow for Crafters TV Wake Up Call with myself and Ben? We've got the brand new launch of the border dies, and I can't wait to show you. I'm going to get back to the house, do a little bit of crafting. But for now, it's a goodbye, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.